Match number 30 of the Big Bash League features the Perth Scorchers and the Sydney Sixers. Let's build our fantasy team on my 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPN Cricinfo. I'm Ronak Kapoor and my colleague Andrew McGlashan is all set to join me. Right, let's go to our pro tip for this one. It's pretty simple. Proven performers at the Perth Stadium, Mitchell Marsh, Liam Livingstone, Andrew Tye are must-haves in your team. Nasher, simple as that?
Yeah, pretty much so. It's hard to disagree with any of those. I mean, one, and he's a name we may well touch on in one of the other segments shortly. Jai Richardson is bowling very nicely this season, so you may want to consider whether he's just leapfrogged AJ Tye a little bit in the pecking order at the moment, but you can't really quibble over those three names.
All right, let's go to our team then. And before that, a quick reminder on the My 11 Circle Fantasy app, 100 credits for every user to pick their fantasy team. 4 categories of players to choose from: batsmen, bowlers, wicket keepers, and all-rounders. Every player's individual credit value is listed on the app. You can pick a maximum of 7 players from one team in any given contest, and we'll throw in 4 substitute options for you towards the end of this video as well. Our captain choice for this one is Mitchell Marsh, the enigmatic Australian all-rounder. He's been at the top of his batting form, accumulating 115 runs in 6 innings. He's remained unbeaten in 3 of his last 4. Exceptional with the ball in the last game too against the Adelaide Strikers, 2 for 14 from his 4 overs. He is the top run scorer at the Perth Stadium, and he scored nearly 300 runs in 13 games at a pretty decent average and strike rate. Vice-captain option, Josh Philippe. He's been a captain option pretty often when the Sixers play as the keeper batsman. Among the top run scorers this season, 261 runs in 7 innings, striking at over 144, and scored that scintillating 44 ball 81 not out against the Scorchers in the last edition of the BBL. Captain choice is Mitch Marsh, vice-captain Josh Philippe. They give you double and 1.5 times the points respectively, so pick them very carefully. Liam Livingstone among our top picks, the leading run scorer for the Scorchers last year, 425 runs in the 2019-2020 season. That included an astonishing 27 sixes in 14 games. Also loves batting at the Perth Stadium. As our pro tip said, he's accumulated 187 runs in his last 3 outings here at a strike rate of over 155. Josh Inglis is there too. He had a breakthrough season last year, but couldn't quite build on that form early on this season. He's managed a string of low scores while opening the batting. He was pushed down to the middle order, and that worked wonders for him. He's managed a couple of fine knocks of 44 not out of 31 and 72 not out of 41 in his last 2 outings. Finally, Dan Christian in our top picks, the BBL veteran. He's hit top form in this edition of the league. 9 wickets at an average of just over 20 and 99 runs, striking at over 200. That 16 ball 50 against the Strikers earlier in the season was, of course, the second fastest 50 in the league's history. Top picks then: Mitchell Marsh captain, Josh Philippe vice-captain, Liam Livingstone, Josh Inglis, Dan Christian. How do you like the look of those, Nasher?
Yeah, that looks pretty solid. One thing you may want to consider, you touched on it there with Josh Inglis's form. The top 4 of the Scorchers seem to be coming together quite nicely now. You just might want to question whether Mitch Marsh is at risk of not getting enough time in the middle to score you the volume of points you might wish. So you may want to consider tweaking the captaincy, vice-captaincy order, or even maybe being brave and giving one of the Scorchers top 3 or 4 batters that VC or captaincy tag. The way they played in the last game, I think Mitchell Marsh managed to face 2 deliveries in the entire innings, given the form of the players above him. So that's one thing you may want to consider.
Yeah, fair point then. So keep a close eye on who you make as captain, given what Nasher's just said. Let's go to some differential picks for the time being. Jordan Silk is there, the finisher's role that's been given to him by the Sydney Sixers. In terrific form this season, 194 runs in 7 games, strike rate of over 151. He's also managed to score 30-plus runs in 4 of his last 6 outings, even though he majorly plays at that number 5 position. Andrew Tye as well. He's not been at his best in Big Bash Season 10, picking up just 4 wickets in 5 innings, but he's done really well in the past at the Perth Stadium. 11 wickets in 8 games, average of just over 17, and against the Sixers, he's picked up 15 wickets in 10 games. So Jordan Silk and Andrew Tye in our differential picks. If we look at our full recommended 11, Josh Philippe and Josh Inglis among our keeper options. Philippe is our vice-captain recommendation. You could even bump him up to captain if you'd like. Jason Roy, Liam Livingstone, James Vince, Jordan Silk, Mitchell Marsh is the recommended captain on this one. Dan Christian, Ben Dorshis, Andrew Tye, and Fawad Ahmed. Substitutes, Ben, sees the likes of Daniel Hughes, Carlos Brathwaite, Colin Munro, and Jai Richardson. Now, Nasher did point out Jai Richardson looking good this season. Would you have him in the 11, Nasher? Any more suggestions as we wrap up?
Yeah, I would be tempted to probably promote Jai Richardson into the 11 of this one. The other name who's not mentioned there, and he's had a quiet season, so that's why. But you always feel he's on the cusp of doing something. Is Jason Behrendorff, the big left arm quick? He may be one you want to consider. He has a pretty good record overall in the BBL, despite a quiet season so far. So those two fast bowlers, I'd certainly keep in mind when you're picking your 11 for this one.
All right, Andrew McGlashan, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts. More from you as the Big Bash continues to roll on. And do join us then for the very latest expert opinion, data, insights, news, etc. to help you build your fantasy teams on My 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPN Cricinfo.